Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of part 1 of Emissary for Deep Space Nine on Ways Away Tour podcast. That's right, going Ways Away Tour all the way to the Gamma Quadrant. And we are just finishing up Act 3. That's right, that's how long we're going to be talking about each thing. We're only picking up Act 3 of this two-part episode. And Nati, you were saying something right before the broadcast about O'Brien saying goodbye to the Enterprise and leaving and going to DS9. So, Nati?
Oh yeah, I just thought it was funny because one of the things I really like about watching Deep Space Nine is watching for like the costume changes, which is something that like we'll see as we move along. Like currently they're using like the next generation communicators, but at some point they switch, and then they're wearing like the regular uniforms, but then at some point they switch to the first contact uniforms after first contact happens. So I just thought I'm always like watching the uniforms and stuff on Deep Space Nine. So I thought it was funny when O'Brien goes to say goodbye to the Enterprise that he like suits back up to his next generation uniform to say goodbye to the Enterprise, which is how you know that like they clearly filmed that like during the next generation when they had like made the decision that he was moving on.
Yes.
They filmed like him saying goodbye and
You
then
don't
like
do
pasted
costume
it in like
changes?
whatever. Yeah, like O'Brien's not like hanging out on the station and being like, "Oh man, I got to go to Upper Pylon 4 and say goodbye to Picard. I better put on my TNG uniform."
Well, maybe Picard wouldn't recognize him otherwise. All right, it's that kind of commentary. That's the cold open for this episode. That kind of commentary and more that you will get on this podcast about Deep Space Nine. My name is Moshe Hill. I'm here with my co-hosts Andy Schwartz and Nati Burnside, and it's so exciting to see you guys again. So that's the end of Act 3. He says goodbye to Picard, who was the only TNG cast member who made the cut for DS9, by the way. Not bad. But Andy, in Act 4, we meet Gul Dukat.
I love Gold Dukat. He's
Oh,
great.
love to hate him. Love to hate Gul Dukat. And I think we should keep track of all the times someone in the DS9 main cast could have killed Gul Dukat, because they all are going to want to do it eventually.
He is probably one of the better.
Also,
villains.
I think there's actually a there's actually a line also like 5 seasons down.
Nati, classic. Andy, you have a massive echo in your background, by the way, whenever you talk.
Oh, I do.
No, that's better. Maybe it was just Nati. All right, so Nati's gone again. Nati, we lost you again.
What I was saying is Gold Dukat is probably one of the better villains in the Star Trek universe.
Yes.
He's charismatic. He's definitely charming.
Yes.
There are plenty of characters who don't have that, and the fact that they kept bringing him back and they kept like his character was growing, very impressive.
Yeah,
very.
The interesting thing is, so I just watched the Next Generation episode where Gul Dukat, well, he's not Gul Dukat, but the actor who plays Gul Dukat is playing a Cardassian, and the first Cardassian to show up in Next Generation, and so he plays his Mark Alemo, and he plays Gul Dukat, and he also plays Gul Sagat or something like that. He plays him as well in Next Generation, and comes back, and because he's so good, he's the best Cardassian.
I love when they do that also, when they find a good actor who's willing to play the parts and they just repeat the actor, because you can change a character and be completely different and you just still have that charisma and the love of the characters.
Yes.
So
Can someone say Jeffrey Combs? Who plays like 8 different characters.
Every character.
He's great.
Yeah.
I love him.
So apparently Gold Dukat is in 35 episodes across all 7 seasons.
Yeah.
And
so, which is weird because I feel like he's in more.
Yeah, but when I was reading about him a little bit, that 35 didn't seem that many, but I guess he's just such a, an important like figure. You feel his presence when he's playing, and he builds on it. So,
but the weird thing is also that spoiler alert for DS9, but later in the series we find out that Gul Dukat had like a multi-year relationship with Kira's mom.
That was
obviously they don't know about it until they wrote that episode in like season 7. So because otherwise every single time Gul Dukat comes on the station, he's like, "Oh, Major Kira,
how's your
banged
mom?
your mother." Oh, the good Major, how are you?
Could have been your father.
Yes, I banged your mom for like 6 years. And it's not like he couldn't know that it was her mom because everyone goes by their last names.
Last names.
I know, last names first, so it's like, I know.
So good.
Oh, can I call you Nerys? Because I banged your mom for nigh on a decade? Yes, I know. It's so crazy also.
Amazing.
Yeah. I also love how they immediately go into...
Oh, Nati's back.
He's back. I was just doing my Dukat impression of, I don't know why that Dukat doesn't go every single time. Major Kira, hello. I banged your mom for 5 years. Like, because they obviously didn't write that until much later.
Yeah, that I feel like it was writing that in retro. It's such a ridiculous like thing to write in retrospect because it's the kind of thing that there's no way Dukat would have not told her earlier.
Yes. I know.
So, like, writing it in later seasons is so stupid because it's like, you expect us to believe that Dukat was living with Kira's mom for 5 years when Kira thought she was dead, and this just came up now.
I know.
No chance.
And he also says it. He also says it in like such a random. We'll get to it in many years from now, but like he also says it in such like a nonchalant, like subskis communication way. It's like, "Hi, I have a message for you, Major Kira. I banged your mom for 5 years. Bye." And it's just like, okay, but that's later. Okay, so what I think actually, so everyone says that Cisco did a great job finding the wormhole, except it was Dax who found the wormhole. Can we give Dax some credit for finding the wormhole?
Yeah. No. We actually can't give Dax some credit for that because she finds the wormhole way too easily.
It's so easy.
So easy. Oh my gosh.
It's so easy. I've never seen anyone make like this. This would literally be like the equivalent of Isaac Newton discovering the gravity by an apple falling on his head.
Yeah. I mean,
how much effort has she really put in here? And she like discovers the freaking wormhole.
It is literally like, computer, where did all these orbs come from? Oh, there? Okay, let's go check that out.
She's not even using like Starfleet's computers. She's just using like
Kardashian computers.
Kardashian, and she figured it out. They just like, it's just unbelievable.
Also, the weird thing is the Kardashians left that space station, and they're like, why didn't they just leave like hey, everything that they look up on while they're there, just like send to our warships? Like, why don't we just,
backups?
It's also not the only time. There's also the thing where like Cisco finds Valhalla or something where like all he like has to do is like, well, I don't know, I like scan these images into the computer. And or like the monks on the Bajor are just like, well, there's just no way we could possibly read this ancient Bajoran. And Cisco's like, well, I'm not Bajoran, but I have a computer, so I think I got a pretty good leg up on you guys. So I'm like, what's going on here? This is like a spacefaring species. They don't have a freaking computer with a scan feature. They don't have a cell phone. What's going on? Like,
also, like AI is making me understand what's it called? What's going on in Star Trek a lot more, because like everything that Star Trek computers were able to do in like the 90s, it was like, oh wow, the computer's like pretty good, able to figure all this out, whatever. But now AI is like Grok. It's like, yeah, how could they not figure that out? It's like, Grok, where did all these orbs come from? ChatGPT, the Denoris belt. Okay, let's head over there.
You could say like they needed the ninth orb to figure out, like, pinpoint the exact dimensions, but that wasn't a secret where they found it.
Yeah, I know.
It was just the orb itself was a secret. So
they didn't even need the orb.
The funny part is Dax did not need the orb at all to find the wormhole.
Yes.
This is also one of those things that they could have easily added into one of the visions for like, oh, by the way, like, like when he's looking at the orb originally, they could have just thrown that in there and been like, oh, like,
They definitely could have had like Cisco, although I guess back then, this is weird because Deep Space Nine is so like not really written in the proper way. So like at this point, Cisco is like a random person who becomes the emissary, right?
Yes.
But like we haven't yet written the backstory that his mom was one of the prophets, which is weird.
Hold on, we'll get to that. We will get to that because I have a theory on that, which is
right. But at this point, he's a random person, because otherwise you would just be like, "Oh, the Cisco is finally at Deep Space Nine. Let's have the prophets give him a random vision about how to find the wormhole."
That's not how. That's not how it works.
They want to murder him.
That would make so much more sense, though.
I know,
like so much more sense.
Okay,
so then Cisco basically enables Quark, Odo, and Kira, who he just met like that day, to basically get together and do a mission to trick the Cardassians and shut down the Cardassian ship. All right, I don't think Quark would go in for that unless the Cardassians he really did want to stop them from gambling.
Also, the Federation and the Cardassians have like a newly formed delicate peace treaty.
Very
Cisco's
delicate.
like, I have an idea. Let's sneak onto their ship and totally disable their sensors. Whoa! You're not even a captain. You've been in charge for like 9 minutes. Calm down.
I know. It's absolutely insane. He basically declares war on that. It's so funny also when you're comparing him to Picard, because I literally just watched the episode with the Cardassians, and Picard's like, I will fire on a Federation ship before breaking this peace treaty. And Cisco's like, let's turn that shapeshifter into a bag that's filled with money so we can shut down this ship. Like, let's just do that.
Can you imagine like Odo gets caught and like the Cardassian Federation peace treaty falls apart and like Cisco gets called in front of the council and they're like, so like, what were you thinking here? Like, and he's like, well,
I didn't want this job anyways.
Well, first, Starfleet Command, do you know how to play Dabo? Because I'm still trying to figure that one out.
He's like, yeah, it's like such a. Also, I mean, this is time number one, but obviously, we can discuss this time 100 times. It's the same problem as the Ant-Man problem. But what does Odo weigh? And like,
how does the volume of Odo work? Exactly.
Yeah, how does like his mass work?
Yeah.
Like, what is? Yeah.
Nati, you're also going to have to get headphones at some point because I could hear myself coming back when I talk over to you. It like reverberates back to me. So you're going to have to get headphones, buddy. All right.
Oh, interesting.
It's all working. It's all a work in progress. All of it. All right.
By the way,
yeah,
they easily could have figured out his transporter like signal. This is not like new technology at the time. Like, oh, somebody's beaming off of our ship.
Exactly.
Like,
well, they shut down the entire ship, I guess. But he got the. How much money did they win? By the way, they won quite a
lot.
Yeah, at least a couple of.
Well, I think the idea is it's fixed, right? Is that Cisco basically tells Quark to like
let them win,
cheat, but for the Cardassians.
Yes. That way they could just shut it down for no explanation,
that would make sense.
By the way. No explanation. Okay, so question about the runabout. So they take the runabout to the wormhole. How big is a runabout compared to a shuttle versus a captain's yacht?
Okay. The captain's yacht is much bigger, but a runabout is actually quite a bit bigger than a shuttlecraft. Because there's all this whole section in the back where there's also runabouts can carry cargo. There's no room for that in a shuttle, like a Type 4 shuttle. And it is weird because it looks kind of smaller because it's longer. So it looks like maybe it's small. But it's actually, I think, quite a lot bigger. I'm gonna look it up though.
So it maxes out at warp 5, I think.
It says it's a shuttlecraft is 8 to 10 meters. And a runabout is 23 meters, so it's almost double.
So how big is a captain's yacht? Because captain's yachts, I don't know. We only see a couple episodes of the captain's yacht with the.
Does every ship have a captain's yacht?
Probably only.
No, the Enterprise E.
Yeah, the Enterprise E has one.
Yeah,
it's 10 meters longer than the runabout. So it's 33 meters long.
Okay.
It's 100 feet
long. So
long.
A runabout is basically between a shuttle and a captain's yacht.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think a runabout is good enough, by the way. You have a You have a space station in the middle of nowhere. 3 runabouts. That's all they give you.
So they also say a runabout can hold 10 passengers with like an empty one, like with the basic bare minimum.
So I guess it holds like more than that if
Yeah,
you're
but-
evacuating the station.
Right, but also because it's very clear, like the runabout has like
Just
cargo
enough for
space.
Starfleet.
So there's times when like they're evacuating people, they clearly get like 30, 40 people on these runabouts because they have like cargo room.
But
as long as that's
you also
empty, like,
you also see like 20 people standing behind like the pilots, whenever they evacuate
Yeah.
space. Which, by the way, they evacuate DS9 a lot.
oh yeah,
It must be hell to live on that station.
yeah, you gotta evacuate as much as possible.
All right,
You're not living there for fun.
So basically, the end of the episode is basically part 1 is basically they find the wormhole, they go to the wormhole, and they land on something inside the wormhole. Is that real? What they're landing on in the wormhole?
So there's clearly no way that there's just like a planetoid in the middle of the wormhole because
You
like,
gotta assume it's fake.
So
it doesn't. It also there's no reason for the whole thing where like Jadzia sees it as a field and Cisco sees it as a cliffside. There's no reason for that anyway. None of this makes any sense really.
There's
that's
also
what's
the
great
idea
about
that
it.
They just wrote weird stuff into the middle of this episode. like sometimes I'm just like, because sometimes you're just like, oh yeah, like, and then you're like, wait, what was the reason for that? Like, does that make any sense even? And then like, not only does it make any sense, but there's no reason for it either. Like, why isn't it just like, Jadzia gets like enveloped by that thing, that looks like the tear of the prophet, like just like, and then she comes out of the wormhole. Why doesn't that happen from the beginning? Like, why? How does it help that she landed on a fake planet that looked like a field for her? And how does it help that?
Maybe
Like,
they
how
were
does it help
trying
that
to
it looked
figure
like
out. Maybe they were trying to figure out which one of them should be the emissary.
I was gonna say, how did they know which one to
Too
pick?
bad one of them already had the mom as a prophet.
Well, that didn't happen yet. I'm telling you, when time is a construct, when time is not, they don't live in a linear existence. So his mom wasn't a prophet yet.
Right.
They went back later, and made his mom
Right.
a prophet. I'm still holding by that. Okay, so I wrote this down. I wrote this down because the prophets kick Dax out. Cisco first sees a bunch of visions really quickly. Okay, so I paused it and I wrote them down. He sees Jennifer, catcher catching a baseball, Opaka, Locutus, and then he takes a break and says, "Who are you?" And then then he's kissing a woman. We assume that it's Jennifer. You can't really see her face. Jake being born, Jake fishing, and then, which was really weird, there is a random blonde woman. I had no idea who that is. I looked it up. Do you guys remember seeing this woman? So her name is Linda Ferguson. Hold on. I got to I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. Here we go. We're sharing Linda Ferguson. Okay? This image shows up in the middle, and she is yeah. And apparently she is her character's name is Doran or Doran Alien, but basically there's 8 images they're doing, and they chose this woman. Apparently she's like a friend of Jennifer Cisco. She never appears again. It is very random. I don't know why they chose this woman as one of the 8 images they show.
Maybe it's the friend that Jennifer's waiting for on the beach.
Maybe. But they also show this image that doesn't have any other spot.
Interesting.
Why is her last name Alien?
Doran Alien.
She's
Ducat
probably
Alien?
married to somebody.
Well, we already know she's not. Well, now my entire computer is going nuts. I'm going to stop screen sharing. Stop sharing. All right. So, yeah. I just wanted to point that one out because it was very weird. I didn't know what the deal was. But then he goes into, you know how they have the focus on his face between the times where he's talking to the prophets? What I like to think is every single time they focus on his face, he's wondering what the first contract procedures are. He's like going back to Academy. He's like, damn it, what's First Contact 101? I don't remember if we meet an existent alien that has a non-linear existence, how do we do this again? Like, and he's trying to remember all the first contact procedures.
Yeah, it's like they're flashing memories for him, and he's like, "Oh, can you stop that for on behalf of the United Federation of Planets? I'd like to what's the next line?
What's the next
Okay,
line?
keep the memories coming for a second.
It's like a cop, someone who hasn't been a cop in a really long time, and he's trying to remember their Miranda rights. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm from the USS. Wait, no, I'm not from a USS. I'm from Deep Space Nine, and I'm a commander. And yes, from the Federation of Planets. I know. I do love that. So once again, by the way, Kira gets a lot of really good parts really early on because they make her like a very important character, and making her have the call to move the station is a good call.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, yeah, Andy, like, is Kira a better character? Is she one of the better female characters we've seen until this point? Because you're dealing with Dr. Crusher, and I mean, you love Troy, but Nati loves Troy. I don't love Troy. I'm only okay with Troy.
She has her moments.
Yes.
I mean, the best female character on Next Generation is like Pulaski.
Yeah, Pulaski's good, but she's only around for one season.
Or like,
she's definitely much better than the Next Generation cast.
Yeah,
I would say one of the only female characters better is like the Captain of Voyager. You know?
Yeah, No, they get better as they go on. So like Janeway's great.
Is phenomenal.
7 is the best. I mean, we love 7.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
Well, Guinan's really good.
Guinan's good, but she's recurring. She's not main cast.
We're talking main cast.
Also,
she's in the Star Trek. She's in the Lego though, so technically.
By the way, let me tell you something about Guinan. Yeah. Okay, Guinan is like 90% Whoopi Goldberg, just at the peak of her powers. Like, because Guinan itself is like not a great character just on paper, but then Whoopi Goldberg, at the peak of her like abilities, not like the View Whoopi Goldberg today, but I'm saying like you're talking about like Sister Act Whoopi Goldberg and like Ghost Whoopi Goldberg, like really like peak Whoopi Goldberg. She is great in TNG, but like Guinan itself is like an okay character. But Kira is like probably one of the best characters. I guess it's like built on Ro. Yeah, like they had Ro and they basically expanded on Ensign Ro.
I think she's also one of the better like strong female characters.
Yeah,
because I think they actually talk about. I think I saw something about this at one point that there was like the possibility of Kira being Ro.
Andy.
But
Andy,
like,
how do you just have that?
I have many things.
Yes. He's a good listener. Yeah. What, that Kira really should have just been Ro?
I can't see what Andy has.
Oh, he had a picture of Guinan.
Yeah, I can't see. Oh, okay.
Are you doing the same podcast as us?
I don't know where Nati is. Yeah.
No, I had something pop up in front of my screen for a second. There you go. I see it. Yeah, I like the Kira was remember, but there was like a whole like rights issue, which is the same thing with like how, Tom Paris like really should have been like Robert Locarno or whatever, but like it couldn't be because of the rights issue.
And Gul Dukat should have really been Gul Marek because or whatever his name was.
Yeah, because then you've got to pay the guy who like worked on some random script for another show. You've got to pay him like a fortune for coming up with the main character for a 7-season show. So like they couldn't make Ro actually be Kira. So yeah, that's a tough one. But clearly like Ro and Kira are like very, very Ro and Kira are clearly very similar characters.
Yes.
Including both of them almost and sleeping with versions of Riker, but like
sleeps with versions of Riker.
Yeah, I mean, just I think it's really interesting because Kira definitely is like one of the better characters. The next generation female characters in general like aren't so good.
Yeah.
And like obviously in the original series, like Uhura is great, but she doesn't like have that much to do.
No.
And like, yes, they definitely like want to push Kira at the very beginning, like to give her a whole bunch of stuff, so that like you're like really like invested in Kira, and you're wondering like what is the deal with her haircut. But like, yeah,
you know who we're not talking about? Very like powerful women, Luxwana Troy.
We will get to Luxwana Troy.
I'm just saying.
I hate Luxwana Troy.
Luxana is definitely a top tier female character.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Luxwana.
Yeah. Shout out Major Barrett.
To Paul.
Speaking of Major Barrett, okay. So why is Major Barrett, her voice, still the voice of the Cardassian computer in Deep Space Nine?
They change it over.
They bring over the Federation voice?
Just the voice.
Just the voice? But the computer doesn't act in any way otherwise because O'Brien has major problems with that computer all the time, which doesn't exist. Those problems don't exist when he's on a Federation ship.
They have to assume that Starfleet has like a ship-wide computer and a computer that they can bring into like other cultures and like kind of like integrate over time.
Well, is it kind of like changing Siri's voice? Is like when they have like the presets and they go onto the Cardassian ship and they're like, "All right, Terok Nora, you're called Deep Space Nine now," and no, I don't want I don't want a British dude. I don't want I want Majel Barrett's voice. Yes, that's what I want.
You got to assume that they're bringing over the Starfleet computers and information, and so with that, you're probably going to have these types of things.
Yes, you would think that they would bring over a lot of stuff.
Why are they not in Starfleet Academy?
This is so far down the list of things in this episode that make no sense that, like, just for instance. One of my favorite ones I wrote down in my notes, I totally forgot about it. When they sneak Odo onto the ship, Odo he materializes as a person. Like, wouldn't it be easier for you to like be smaller?
Well, how is he supposed to manipulate the computer?
No, but until you find the computer, he materializes as a full-size human being.
You're assuming he was
like a rat.
Well, you have to assume he was shapeshifter.
Why would he take the form of a human to disrupt the Cardassian computer?
Also,
you have to assume he was a human.
He also knows how to do the Cardassian neck trick, so maybe he.
Why would he transform into a Cardassian?
He should be a Cardassian, yeah. If anything,
he should have a Cardassian form of some sort.
He also knows how to create the Cardassian uniform. So why isn't he transforming into a Bajoran uniform? And looking like himself, he could have easily made himself look more like a Cardassian.
Yeah,
I know. All right.
Good question.
Nothing in this episode makes any sense, anyway. So whatever.
I love it.
Like,
this is what makes the episode so good, though. You know.
So hold on. So then you have you got the exposition dump by Odo. Odo says, "Oh, I was found in the Norris Belt," and it's like everything came from the Norris Belt. Like, how did nobody check this place out before?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense. Wait, also, do they find the planet or planetoid or nothing? I don't know. Do they find that on the way back through the wormhole? It's the way back through, right?
They go all the way to Gamma Quadrant, realize where they are, and then on the way back, they're basically landed on the thing. Yeah. And then Sisko's starting to talk to the prophets. So now he's talking to the prophet Jennifer, and they're basically making out on that like picnic blanket. And the question is, how far into the memory would they have gone if would they have like just straight up been starting to have sex on that picnic blanket? He's like, listen, I haven't seen my wife for 3 years. It's been a while. No way, please don't take me back to Wolf 359. I want to stick around over here for a little bit.
Let me finish.
Give me like a few more minutes. Like father, like son, we like to have sex with prophets. I mean, that's it. Okay.
It's a move.
It is a move. He does have a good move. All right. So he is then going into the memory of Act 6, where going into the memory of explaining baseball. Okay, is baseball harder to explain than a linear existence? Like, he is going into, like, linear existence. This is easy, okay? We live at a point, and there's things that happen before us and things that happen afterwards. And it's like, what is baseball? He's like, ooh, that's a tough one. Okay, you have a stick, right? It's called a bat. Like, it's, and then they have to, like, run the bases. What are bases? And he just has no idea what's going on.
You're also assuming that baseball's around in 350 years. Like,
only for him. Baseball's not around.
No, I mean, I'm saying nobody else plays baseball or talks about baseball. Like,
it's literally just him. And how did he get into baseball in the first place, by the way? Is there ever an explanation for that?
No, they don't explain that.
I also don't understand why there is no baseball. Like, baseball's a good sport. Like, why do you need to have, like, all these other weird sports? Like, why did you need to invent Parisi squares or whatever?
It's actually really funny because you would think, given like the way like the economy works in the Federation, that like athletes playing sports would be like one of the things that doesn't go away.
Well, I mean, I guess if like there is no money, then I guess there's no incentive to become.
Yeah.
It
says here the last World Series was in 2042, and DS9 takes place in 2369. So
yeah, exactly.
320 years. That's a long time.
By the way,
because you hear Buck Bukai talk about how they're in the World Series or whatever, that there was almost nobody there the last World Series.
But you would have to assume that nobody would know what baseball was. Even people who like were familiar with like information from Earth, like baseball is just probably like is so at the bottom of everyone.
Like Cisco basically marries Cassidy H because she knows what baseball is, right? Like,
yeah, essentially.
That's like the number one comment. Yeah, I mean,
essentially, yeah.
It actually doesn't make any sense. So then he's in the memory. I have another question. So he's in a memory with Jake where they're on the holodeck playing baseball, and he's talking to a prophet who's one is playing a baseball player, and two is playing Jake. First of all, why is his version of baseball like from 1936? Like, why isn't he playing like at least 1980s baseball? Okay, why is all the gloves and the mitts and the hats and the uniforms? Why do they look super old? That's first of all. Second of all, why is Cisco wearing his Starfleet uniform when he's hanging out in the holodeck playing baseball with his son? Like, he couldn't change for that?
It's part of the memory, probably. They're just like,
why? But I'm saying if he's in the memory, like when he's with Jennifer on the blanket or on the beach, he's wearing like beach clothes. Why is he not wearing a baseball uniform?
That's a good point.
It makes no sense.
Well, in Take Me Out to the Holosuite, when they have the tryouts, like half of them are wearing their uniforms.
By the way,
or like,
by the time we get to that episode, we all have to have Deep Space Niner hats.
I already do.
You already do? Of course you do.
I'm just
do you really?
There. Yeah, of course. I bought it like when I watched the show originally. I'm like, this is an amazing.
I gotta get a Logician's hat.
The Logicians. Oh my god.
What's next?
I know. So then he says, what's it called? I do not understand how the Enterprise just left when there's literally no shields, very little weapons.
Yeah.
They just left DS9.
Like, oh yeah, well, like the Cardassians are like right nearby, so we'll give you 6 photon torpedoes.
Yeah.
And 3 runabouts that go nowhere.
And have no weapons.
And we'll see you later.
I know.
I mean, you have to assume it's just a useless space station at that point. Nobody thinks anything of it. You don't think the Cardassians care about it because they left it and gave it away. You know?
All right.
So, like, you have to just assume it's garbage to them.
Yes. I also, during the memory sequence, they show a lot of Bolians. Why do we always see Bolians and never any Andorians? Nati, what happened to the Andorians?
Well, first of all, Bolians are much easier on the makeup department because all you're doing is making their face blue. Whereas Andorians, you need to fit them with the wig plus the antenna move, and that's really a lot of money.
So basically, Andorians, even though they're one of the founders of the Federation, they just never show up on Star Trek?
Bolians are cheaper Andorians.
They do on the animated series where it doesn't cost more money, and like. I mean, yeah, there should be. It's the same thing as Tellarites, right? It's like Tellarites. Oh, they're like founding member of the Federation, but like it's a lot of makeup.
You never see that.
Like, so yeah, it's not around that much.
Vulcans, you just throw on a couple of ears, like a pair of ears, and it's like, oh, Vulcan right there.
Boom, Vulcan.
Yeah, check out this. That person over there, the Betazoid, because nothing.
Yeah,
right. They just have to speak sign language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deaf Betazoids. So you have what's it called? So Cisco has to describe linear time, but he also has to describe in a way trauma-induced depression, because they're like
tough one.
Yeah, it's like you are here, like you live here, you exist here, and it's like, oh yeah, that's like a pretty good description of like how trauma-induced depression works, and like Cisco not only has to do the heavy lifting of first contact with the wormhole aliens, he has to describe linear time, he has to describe what depression is, and like why his life sucks and everything like that. Like, not an easy job, not an easy gig for the really back burner commander.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also love that, like, like they talk about like how First Contact's like such a big deal, and like you see like the episode like First Contact: The Next Generation with where like Picard's and they're all like, oh, we got to make sure we approach the scientists first, and like and then it's like, how about we take this guy who's like not even a captain, and like we'll give him first contact with like the toughest aliens.
I know. Well, in their defense, here's
these aliens.
In their defense,
he can't even meet them face to face. They don't even understand what time is.
Hold on. In their defense, they did not know the aliens were there. And they didn't think he was going to have to do anything except for get that station up and running. But this brings me to my biggest question of the entire series, which happens at the end. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. Because, okay, why did Starfleet leave Ben Sisko in charge of DS9? Like, Sisko finds the wormhole. He already said, I don't want to be here. He already said, I'm thinking about resigning my commission. He's a substandard commander. He's on DS9. Picard comes back. How do they not replace him?
He's the emissary. I mean, that's the only reason you could really like.
Also, by the way, my biggest question is like when Picard comes back, right? And they're at the end, and they're talking it out, and Picard is like, and Sisko's like, hey, remember that thing I told you about how like I don't really want to be in charge of this station? And Picard is like, yeah, sorry, I've been like super busy and like haven't had time to like push the on commands. And I'm like, Picard, like, what are you talking about? Like, first of all, if I was in Picard's shoes and this guy would like walks into my office, treats me like I'm Locutus and blames me for the death of his wife, and then he's like, hey, I don't really want to be in charge of this thing, and Picard is like really in touch with the Bajoran people, I would like the first thing I would do is I was like, get me some admiral. I got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, and how did he leave? Later. How did he leave?
Later, and Picard said nothing? Are you kidding me? Like, come on.
I know.
Picard should hate this guy.
You have to assume it's been like almost a week. It's in like he's 2 days away, 2 days back at like full full speed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
How has Picard said nothing? Picard's like, yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it. What are you talking about?
I've been very busy. I've been playing my
priority. You're returning from a place called Deep Space Nine. Nothing's happened in the last 2 days for you.
I have
so ridiculous.
He could have put anybody else in charge also. Like when he's like, I don't want to be in charge of this, he's like, okay, we'll leave somebody else in charge.
I know. Literally, I have an ensign who can do a better job.
I have a ship full of people. Like who can do this
some
job.
Other person from like a shipyard or a science station who's a commander and like throw him over here. Like,
so I'm thinking that, you know how like Picard is basically an admiral in everything but name? Because he's like the flagship, whatever.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to be.
You're basically like in charge of more stuff than most admirals.
Yeah, exactly. So he's basically an admiral and everything by name. So is it like a kind of a thing that with Sisko, like they knew he was really good, except like his career got derailed a little bit because of the death of his wife. But they're like, this guy really should already be a captain. Like we know that he's really good. Like no one knows Alan Moraine like he does. Like
Al Moraine, 2x2.
Yeah.
Well, I do think that the weirdest thing about Deep Space Nine, it's kind of like the same thing, I guess, with like Voyager also. But Deep Space Nine and Voyager are very different from TOS and TNG. In TOS and TNG, like you're watching the captain, and before the show even starts, you're like, this guy is like the man.
This
like
is the
he's
main
in
guy.
charge.
Yes.
Right? He like Kirk and Picard are like, these dudes are like the real deal. Like we're watching these guys who are in charge of the Enterprise.
Yes.
Like Cisco is like, he's a commander in charge of nothing. And then Janeway is like some random person with like a science vessel.
Yes.
Like, so they're very, very different shows in that way, where you're trying to like compare like Cisco. The weirdest part, by the way, is that like within like 3 years, Cisco has like become like, oh, let's put this guy in charge of all of Starfleet security, and you're like, 3 years ago, this dude was like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like what? Like what are you talking about?
Big question.
All Starfleet security now? Like what is going on?
Big question, because we're never ever gonna get to it.
Aliens in the wormhole talk to him? Like these aliens in this wormhole talk to him, and now he's in charge of all Starfleet security. Like what's going on? Like it's so weird. It's like, what are you talking about?
Big question, because we're never. Ah! You're the worst. Big question, because we're never gonna get to it. If the Enterprise is so important, and it has Kirk and it has Picard, how the hell did John Harriman become the captain of the Enterprise B? I just have to throw that out there. It makes no sense.
We don't know anything about John Harriman and Rachel Garrett, though. Like, we don't know anything about them.
At least Rachel Garrett seemed like, on the Enterprise C, seemed competent. Like,
that's true. Rachel Garrett does kind of seem like a
John
boss.
Harriman, like, didn't know how to, like, load the photon torpedo base. Like,
he does have a good sense of humor, though, with the Tuesday thing.
Let me guess.
Tuesday?
We'll never get into that.
Tuesday?
But I just had to bring that up because you did mention the Enterprise. So, yes, we're used to, like, the best of the best. And so I think they already knew that Cisco was, like, they know that, like, certain commanders are better than a lot of captains they have. Like, Riker is better than your average captain. Right? So, like...
Oh, Riker's much better than your average captain. They keep trying to give Riker, like, this stand, like, 6 different times.
Yeah. I know. So I think that they already knew that, like, Cisco was, like, had a good career going. He got derailed, and they're just giving him, like, a lot of leeway. And that's why they kept him in charge. And also him being the emissary doesn't hurt, I guess.
Yeah, you have to assume that because he's the emissary, that, like, they would keep him there. The question is, why keep him in charge, though? Like, he could have just had, like, a regular position and be like, let's bring in another captain. And, like, the emissary's just here also. You can live on the ship. Yeah. Like, you have to live around here or live on Bayshore, you know? Like,
Exactly. Also, like, what is so now they made the DS9, they moved it over to the wormhole. So it has, first of all, 13 injuries and no fatalities. You know what I immediately thought of when they said 13 injuries and no fatalities? Was the beginning of Fast 5 when they break Dom out of the bus and the bus flips over 20 times and, like... And I think it's like Perd Hapley, by the way, because you heard with Perd is on like, and Perd Hapley is literally just like, thank God there were no fatalities. It's like, how were there no fatalities? Like you see half the promenades collapsing.
Everything's exploding.
Also,
there's like giant beams collapsing on people.
A classic thing that like makes no sense and that like happens in Star Trek a bunch of times is when they talk about stuff like this with the station. And they're like, oh, like, what if we, like, move this? It's like, guys, there's no mass in space. Like, when they're talking about, like, how fast can we move the station? You're like, well, we only have these couple of thrusters, and, like, moving something as big as the station, it's like, it doesn't matter how big it is, there's no gravity.
Well, I think...
What are you talking about?
No, I think the issue was breaking orbit.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, the issue was breaking orbit.
No, but they talk about how they can break orbit. It's like, once you break orbit, there's no gravity.
That's all they had to do was break orbit. Hold on, but here's the question. Oh, because I just watched this TNG episode, do you think that O'Brien got the idea of lowering the gravity on the space station because of the Deja Q episode, where Q suggests they lower the gravitational constant of the universe? And it's like, well, why don't they
that's something else.
Well, why don't they do that to the moon? So he's like, oh, I got it. Just lower the gravitational constant of the universe. It's like, Q, we can't do that. He's like, why not? I love that. So, and then I think we're up to the end of the episode, which is Quark making his move on Kira, which Quark really swings for the fences. He makes moves on.
He doesn't give up.
He makes moves on Kira. He makes moves on Dax. He makes moves on the most beautiful women.
I mean, Ferengi culture, they could, it's all up for grabs, right?
That is true.
Yeah, the Ferengi thing is just like, if you do something while smiling, it's fine. Like,
oh, it was good fun.
Chew my food for me.
Yeah, she's like, if you take your hand and like put it on a woman's hip, but you do it while smiling at her, it's a compliment.
I'm pretty sure
it's like
Manhattan in the '60s, like all in good fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's how
Quark would do. Okay. Yeah, Quark would be really great in Mad Men.
Yes,
it's Don Draper and Quark. And
how did my hand get there?
Sterling Cooper, Draper, Price, and Quark. All right, guys, that's the end of the episodes 1 and 2, the premiere of DS9. We did. We got through the first episode. We'll be back hopefully soon. Any last thoughts, Andy? Any last thoughts on the premiere of DS9?
I just thought it was a great episode all around. Like, there were obviously holes thinking back to it, but like it was a very well-rounded episode. Like, yeah. It opened up a lot of characters, and it went in a lot of healthy directions, and it was very interesting. I mean, they brought about things where it kind of brought the old and the new, and I love that. I love that it just like that healthiness of it.
Yeah, the premise is great. They do a really great job introducing all the characters. And what I think what people love about DS9 just in general is the depth of the characters. And so it's great when you're rewatching this show and you're like, oh, like you're meeting Bashir as like a young guy, and you see how much he grows throughout the entire series. And same thing with, Kira and Quark and Odo and Cisco and everybody. And you also really feel bad for Miles O'Brien because he is the most tortured man in Starfleet after this.
It's kind of crazy the things they do to him.
They do so much bad stuff to Miles O'Brien.
They're like, who can we beat the crap out of this week?
I swear there's like people sitting around in I picture the writer's room like being the wardroom from Deep Space Nine, and I swear they're like sitting around there. People have their feet up on the table, and they're just like looking down at their computers, and they're just like, "Wow, I've got nothing for that episode in a couple of weeks. Like, what do you got? Nothing? Okay." How many weeks has it been since something really bad happened to O'Brien? Like, has it been a double-digit number yet? Because I think we could do it again.
There's a point, I think, in season 2. Crazy. There's a point in season 2 where O'Brien like has 3 episodes in a row where he's just tortured beyond belief. Like, he's like put on trial in Cardassia. He's like almost dead, and then he's like sent to like this mind prison for like 20 years.
That's the worst thing ever. When we get to that episode, like.
I don't know. I think what's worse is his daughter aging up like 10 years. He loses
becoming
his daughter,
an alien,
becoming this weird like cave woman. Like every single thing that happens to O'Brien. By the way, the funny thing is, and I have a theory on why O'Brien gets tortured so much, is because everyone else has like a preset like thing that they could like go to. Like, okay, Bashir has like medical mysteries, and Kira has all this Bajoran stuff, and like you go with Dax, you got a lot of Trill stuff. Like you're learning all about Trill. Same with Odo, you got changing stuff. Quark, you got all this Ferengi stuff. O'Brien's just a human from Earth who's an engineer on a like, and you can't really have too much like engineering stories on a space station because like most of the engineering stories from TNG are around like the warp drive. Like something's going on in the warp drive right now, and there is no warp drive on the space station. So O'Brien's like, all of his stories are like, well, he's a main character. We need to give him an O'Brien-centric episode. What do we do? Let's just torture him again.
Yeah. After the first season, they basically fixed the ship, and the ship's running. So like, what else is he gonna do? Like,
we haven't even mentioned the episodes where his wife is inhabited by a power wraith.
Yes.
Or the one where he contracts the harvesters.
Oh my God.
Some good episodes.
By the way, the episode with the harvesters, when we get to it, It has the funniest ending of any Star Trek episode ever, and we will be talking about that. All right, Nati, last thoughts on the Emissary, the first episode of DS9.
So I think really the Emissary, it gets a lot of stuff done. It accomplishes a lot of stuff, which really is not like the purpose of like the pilot of TNG, right? When you watch like Encounter at Farpoint, it's all like it introduces you to Q, but like Q's not a big part of the series. Like Emissary, it's like you got an hour and a half and you got to like establish this whole thing. Like you got to establish like the whole like provisional government and Cisco versus Kira, and the Cardassians are around, but they're not really in charge. You got the prophets and the wormhole. You establish like all this stuff, and they actually do like a pretty good job of it. Even if like a lot of the stuff in the background like doesn't really make any sense, and like it seems to be way too easy to find the wormhole. Like a lot of this stuff like is clearly weird, but like they're trying to jam it into like 90 minutes, which is pretty crazy. Like, what's the runtime? Is it like 90 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's like 90,
it's a two-parter. Yeah,
it's like 92 minutes. Yeah, it's crazy that they jam so much into it. Because by like the second episode of Deep Space Nine, you're like, you kind of like are at Deep Space Nine now.
Yes.
And it actually like makes sense.
And it's just like you get up and you go. That's it. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this was fun. You know,
Thanks
we're
again.
We're gonna see you this week, hopefully, and we're gonna continue. We're gonna do this episode by episode. We just did episode 1 and 2 of a 237 episode run. How many episodes of DS9 are there?
I think it's 178.
Okay, so we're only gonna be doing this for a couple of years. Maybe if we do 2 episodes, 176, very close. All right, good to see you guys. Have a good one.
Until next time.